Hello, dear friends. This was expected, but not so soon. Pronto trade dust for glitter, as one advert put it. Appearances: Tuesday the 13th, equivalent to Friday the 13th. Black Tuesday on the stock market. Wall Street suffered its worst day. The Dow Jones is down almost 4%. Winds of change in the Commonwealth. France asks Spain and Britain for help. Will it all come crashing down at the end of September? Nostradamus has been wrong many times. German lawmaker leaks 24th September. 1,500 world leaders meet in London. Germany is considering joining the BRICS. New system is in the process of taking shape. 92% of investors expect a recession in Europe. Divine feminine energy driving change. US Navy hides its UFO videos. East may have something to teach the West. The path to salvation is as difficult as waking on a razor's edge. Let's start. Tuesday the 13th lived up to its bad reputation. In Spanish, there is an old saying that partly illustrates the superstition. On Tuesday the 13th, don't get married, don't get on board, and don't leave your home. For many people, this is the same as saying on a fateful day like Tuesday, do not undertake any business of importance. The connotations applied this way are the same as those of Friday the 13th in Anglo-Saxon cultures, or Friday the 17th in Italy. In the cultures of Greece and in some of the countries of Hispanic culture, such as Spain, Cuba, Uruguay, Paraguay, Dominican Republic, Argentina, Chile, Peru, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, and others, Tuesday the 13th is considered an unlucky day. Mars is the Roman god of war, so Tuesday is ruled by the red planet. In addition, legend has it that on Tuesday the 13th, the confusion of languages took place at the Tower of Babel. The big crack. The New York Stock Exchange suffered its worst day since June 2020 due to inflation. Stock prices had their worst day in more than 2 years on Tuesday, with losses of more than 1,250 points for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, after Wall Street fell on the realization that inflation is not slowing as expected. Wall Street suffers on its worst day of the year, and the Dow Jones falls almost 4%. The New York Stock Exchange closed Tuesday with sharp declines on its worst day of the year, and its main indicator, the Dow Jones Industrials, fell almost 4% after news that the year-on-year rate of inflation fell less than expected in August, pointing to a continuation of the Fed's aggressive policy. US inflation rate hits 8.3% year-on-year in August, moving away from 4-decade highs. Traders are divided between a Fed hike of 75 or 100 basis points at the Fed's September 2021 meeting. Tuesday, 29 October 1929, was the day of the biggest fall in stock prices on the New York Stock Exchange. In the weeks following Black Thursday, 24 October 1929, during the famous crash of 1929 that started the Great Depression. News on the reset, or reset news. Europe is imploding with its bank-rat-fiat system, closing banks while Russia was going to a gold standard, Argentina is joining the BRICS, and Germany would try to join the BRICS. 92% of investors expect a recession in Europe, and for it to bottom out in the first half of 2023. The global coalition is well on this way to restored republics through a global financial restart designed to give people new and fair political, economic, and judicial systems. Economist Anton Tabak said that the current system of monetary relations and trade agreements has been in crisis for a long time, but recent geopolitical events may take another dimension and shape. The economist expressed confidence that the new system is in the process of taking shape. In the end, there will be a completely new monetary system that will be more beneficial to the people, James Gilliland believes. It will have different priorities, and it will be aligned with universal law and service to the village, to the people. It's a time of transition, and we need to get through. There will be replicators, transport for travel, buses and magnetic levitation trains, mostly underground. All this technology is already there, or here, but in the wrong hands. France is asking Spain and the UK for emergency help to increase its electricity exports after mistakenly selling its excess of electricity for 60 million euros, the Financial Times reported. Moldovan authorities fear shock from reduced Russian gas supplies. Global meeting. There is also an unprecedented gathering of world leaders and power brokers. More than 1,500 world leaders will attend the Queen's funeral, except Putin has been blacklisted. Winds of change in the Commonwealth. Caribbean countries lead the way to a republic after the death of Elizabeth II. London Bridge is falling down, and our parched desert valley has just been drenched by refreshing rain. It is happening. Is the destruction of the monarchy part of the global agenda? At some point in the next 5 to 10 years, the monarchy could disappear. Would Charles be used to promote the agenda of the Davos Forum? Questions, no answers. The death of the Queen could be one of the many signs that some kind of mega black swan event is coming to the West in this October, writes Benjamin Fulford. It also signifies the death of the head of the Committee of 300, known to many as the secret leadership of the Western world. This follows the elimination of all the higher ranks of the Knights of Malta, who would be military leadership of the West. It is said that the 3 Egyptian obelisks of Western power are scheduled to fall. The first obelisk, located in the city of London, is where the financial power resides. The second, in Washington, D.C., is where military power resides. The third symbolizes spiritual power and is in Rome. All eyes are on the papacy now. The big changes are not limited to the West either. The CCP has brought forward its big National Congress, once in 5 years from November to October. It will make changes to the Constitution that will lead to new governance strategies. Germany. German lawmaker leaks a date, 24th September. This is what he said in Parliament. In quotes, "Dear colleagues, this 24th September 2022 will be a day that will remain in our memory as a day when we will say, I remember exactly where I was." Germany's electricity grid faces collapse as millions stock up on inefficient electric heaters for the winter. Khalifa Rami accuses Germany of fueling uncertainty over gas in the European Union. Germany is considering joining the BRICS. Germany backs the euro, and if it were to withdraw, it would implode the European currency. If Germany changes, and if Saudi Arabia joins the BRICS, it is game over. And things are happening all around us, but time is up. They have been in cleansing mode for years, and our world is falling apart. Go is the economic protection, and everyone is exposed according to the X22 report. Now, all the players who are driving the Great Reset at Davos are exposed. The economy is imploding, and people see this as they continue to push to make things worse. USA. Twitter shareholders approve Elon Musk's $44 billion buyout offer. US considers possible sanctions to deter China from invading Taiwan. Confronting communist China is the defining challenge of the 21st century, says Senator Rubio. The FBI refuses to release documents detailing its relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. The US Navy hides UFO videos in its possession, claiming they are very sensitive material that could compromise the country's national security. Americas. The Argentine justice system lifts the ban of the 12 crew members of the Venezuelan plane from leaving the country. Venezuela agrees to be a guarantor in the negotiations with the ELN for total peace in Colombia. OPEC declares that Venezuela increased its oil production by 94,000 barrels per day in August. OPEC increased oil production in August to almost 30 million barrels per day. Africa. Nearly 8 million people face food shortages in Somalia. 2 billion-year-old nuclear reactors in Africa baffle researchers. In 1942, physicist Enrico Fermi and a team of workers built what they thought was the first nuclear reactor on a Chicago racquetball court, but nature had beaten them to it. Prophecies. Prophecies in the Bible speak of the end of the world. Perilous times, the Apostle Paul called them, when peace would be taken from the earth, when heaven and earth would tremble, and when hearts would faint with fear. Even if it's not the end of the world, feelings of fear and anxiety plague us. All too often, these feelings surface in the form of anger and hostility towards others. All stress has a profound effect on health and well-being. The Apostle John offered great comfort when he said, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love cuts out fear. Anxiety and fear can be managed, even replaced with peace and joy and hope, as we focus on loving God and loving our neighbor as ourselves." Nostradamus predicted that a large meteor or asteroid would hit the Earth later this year. However, a large meteor or asteroid was also supposed to hit the Earth last year in 2021, and it didn't happen. According to NASA, asteroid 2021 GW4, which measures 16 feet across, posed little threat, as it will most likely break into smaller pieces once it enters the atmosphere. Nostradamus has so far been wrong about large meteor and asteroid impacts. However, other prophecies have come true, such as Hitler's rise to power and the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the Great Fire of London, and the assassination of JFK, to name a few. In Search of Meaning, The Golden Rule by Catherine Bill. Treating others as we wish to be treated ourselves can be a direct step towards appropriate behavior in any situation. With truths inexorably sprouting from the canvas of secrecy, it may be tempting to gift friends, family, and acquaintances with a toxic overload of our truth. Do unto others as you would have them unto you, for this is the law of the prophets. We seek happiness. If we were to look at ourselves from a higher dimensional point of view, we would see people who seek pleasure and happiness endlessly, seeking to obtain them from external objects, be they people or things, are resorting to these tactics to obtain them. The tactics work to achieve their end only to a very limited degree. They bring pleasure and happiness, but not 1/100th part of the pleasure and happiness that divine states bring. The Great Spirit is in utter stillness, says the dog poet. This ceaseless meditation on existence is what holds it in place. It is the Divine Mother who institutes change, who is the source, the medium, and the result of all action. God is the witness and observes the dance of the Divine Feminine. A journey in search of the meaning of life. Somerset Maugham's The Razor's Edge. The East may have something to teach the West, says the novelist. India is precisely the place where the protagonist, Larry Darrell's perception changes completely and where he will find some answers. The title of the novel is taken from the Upanishads, India's sacred books. Among its maxims is this: the path to salvation is as difficult to tread as the razor's edge. Larry's journey to India is the climax of the razor's edge. Up to this point, Larry is shown as a war-traumatized individual who has lost his sense of self. When he meets a Hindu saint with whom he stays for several years, he raises his doubts, and the sage replies, "The very fact that you come from so far in search of knowledge shows that you are not afraid of responsibility. Admitting your ignorance already shows courage." Larry explains to the Hindu sage that he has tried to find answers in books and study, but to no avail, and that he distrusts traditional values, to which the saint replies, in quotes, "Your restlessness and confusion are not alone, my son. The whole world is restless and confused. It will always be so as long as humankind bases its ideals on false concepts. There will be no true happiness until beings learn to seek it within themselves. It is written that the wise humankind is nourished by its inner light. It comes from God and is in his heart. It is how calmness, patient compassion, selflessness, and eternal peace are achieved." Larry says at the point, "But that is not easy," to which the saint replies, "No, the way of salvation is difficult to walk, difficult as walking on a razor's edge." Hope. There must be brighter lights burning somewhere. There must be birds flying higher in a bluer sky. If I can dream of a better earth, where all my brothers and sisters walk hand in hand, tell me why can't my dream come true? Sang Elvis Presley, the king. There must be peace and understanding at some point, strong winds of promise that will blow away doubt and fear. If I can dream of a warmer sun, where hope still shines for all, tell me why won't that sun appear? We are lost in a cloud with too much rain. We are trapped in a world that is worried with pain. But as long as humankind has the strength to dream, it can redeem its soul and fly. Deep in my heart there is a trembling question, yet I am sure the answer will come somehow. Out there in the darkness, there is a candle calling, and as long as I can think, as long as I can talk, as long as I can stand, as long as I can walk, as long as I can dream, oh please, let my dream come true right now. That's all for today. Thanks a lot, my friends.